guys, it's Tova. I am here to talk about the Aquarius Full Moon coming up this Wednesday. It is occurring at 6 degrees of Leo and Aquarius, and the Sun is going to be almost perfectly conjunct Jupiter. Pluto is also involved in this full moon pretty strongly. It has a 2-degree orb to the moon in Aquarius. It's going to be at 4 degrees. It is very significant that this full moon is occurring on the same day that the Sun is conjunct Jupiter. That happens once a year. Think about what has come up since Jupiter went into Leo. That was on June 30th. So what has been going on since June 30th that has been expansive, for good or bad? Expansive for good or bad. It really depends on how it's hitting your chart. Think about that first area of Leo, that first decan of Leo in your chart, in your life, and what has been getting this boost of expansion, of grandiosity, of excess. Now that the Sun is coming around and going over those degrees where Jupiter was at, and now they're going to be conjunct at 6 degrees, whatever has been coming up since June 30th is getting highlighted with like a flashlight, with a spotlight. And this day in the year is typically seen as really lucky or abundant or special in some way. So it's really interesting that it's happening on a full moon and that exact conjunction is really being highlighted here. It's definitely the most important part of the chart. To be able to effectively unpack this full moon, we need to talk about what a full moon in Aquarius typically does for us every year. It comes during a time of year when the general vibe is to be outgoing, fun-focused, and socially expressive. That's Leo season. When we have a culmination point that's being activated by an Aquarian way of reacting and responding to things, the moon, we actually have this injection of a more unbiased, calculated, logical, group-focused way of looking at something. So think about what has been coming through recently. AI has all but taken over our daily lives. The powers that be are just out there waging wars while people are struggling to make ends meet. There's so many more bad things than that, but what's really significant is the collective people's response. People are quitting their jobs en masse, in case you haven't noticed. People are finding new ways to make money and survive, whether that's starting a tiny business, making a new craft and selling it. That stuff is happening all over the place. This is Aquarius behaving revolutionarily. Pluto moving through Aquarius for the next 20 or so years is churning up the methods that have been used to crowd control the population for hundreds of years. We will not get through this time without massive revolutionary upheaval in multiple countries. Moreover, we will not get through this time without a massive consciousness revolution and awakening. We've already been in it for a while, but it's really getting highlighted right now. That's what this basket has been all about, Barbo's basket. Everything has been leading up to this. I know that's a lot of pressure on you as an individual, but it's actually a lot more simple than it looks. Think about every spiritual methodology of living a good life that you've ever heard. What does it involve? Letting go of attachment to outcome. Full moons are about releasing. They are a pinnacle of energetic tension. This full moon is saying, it's time to let go of everything that's keeping you from being who you are. That's the Leo side talking to the Aquarius side harmoniously. Letting go of everything that's keeping you from being yourself fully requires some serious things to be established first. The first of which is that you are worthy of what you want. That's a hard thing to come to terms with, especially if you've been raised in a society like ours where you have to do all of these prerequisites just to feel like you're worthy of making money or getting a job that doesn't suck or anything like that. The second is you are safe to let go and just be. This is another huge one because every single one of us is traumatized. Every single one of us has suffered at the hands of someone who unconsciously made our lives more difficult than they needed to be in a traumatic way. And our bodies hold that trauma for the rest of our lives. And really the only thing that we can do is just try to mitigate it with taking new actions and doing our best to just regulate our nervous system, which is a whole other discussion. The third is that you are not choking up your flow of naturally radiant energy by being hyper-focused on what the outcome of your effort is going to be. So there's that letting go of outcomes that is so important and is a learned skill. Saturn is stationed retrograde during this full moon. The message there is to stop trying to do everything by someone else's rulebook. It's time to do it your way, even if, especially if, it's unconventional, shakes things up, and blazes the trail. That's Aries for you. Think of it like the Hierophant reversed in a way. Though it's not necessarily strictly about your beliefs, that's being highlighted by Jupiter in a big way, your beliefs about yourself, but it's about the structural pioneering methods you're going to get a flash of insight to try or implement in a serious way during this full moon. A couple of other things are going on. The first big one is that the nodes just changed signs. The next year and a half is all about how it's time to stop with the shadow Leo side of expression. Vanity, scrambling for social media likes, tying what we do to express ourselves into our actual self-worth. All of that is going to be challenged and will change forever after the nodes move through these signs. Aside from the basket that we've been dealing with already for a while, and will continue to for the next couple of years, and just as a reminder, that's all about very deep collective spiritual and societal upgrades that are happening very fast as societal change goes. We will see more of that in the coming years. But the way that life works is going to change massively, and that actually starts right now during this time within each individual person's life. People are making changes to their lives because they feel that they must, not because they're supposed to or someone told them to. People are taking beautiful risks, leaps of faith, and it's encoding this amazing new program into the collective experience. We're going to discover just how much collective power we have to alter the course of history. This basket is a declaration that we are sovereign spirits with a grander mission, and that we are all one force moving through this experience with a purpose that really matters. We will talk much more about this in the future, but for now, let's finish up the aspects for this full moon. The last one I want to mention is this ongoing square between Venus and Mars. When this happens, there's a disagreement or a struggle between the masculine and feminine that needs to be resolved. It's a challenge to make something work when there's a clear disconnect in understanding. I say understanding because this square involves Virgo and Gemini, the Mercury-ruled signs. The way I see this playing out in a practical way is like a couple where one person wants to do something in a methodically planned out way, and the other person just wants to take action and complete the task with a spontaneous sort of energy about figuring it out. The Venus in Virgo wound is overly identifying with a need to be around and be a part of things that are, quote-unquote, well put together. If something looks unorganized, time to freak out. If everything doesn't have its place and is chaotic, that must mean it's wrong or bad. Mars, on the other hand, is over here like, let's explore these ideas. Let's take a trip to a city we've never been to and know nothing about. Venus doesn't want to do that. She wants to stay home and organize the bookshelves. She wants to take a course on medicinal gardening. Mars is like, let's just try something and see if it works. So there's this battle going on between these two ways of thinking, valuing things, and taking action based on those values. This is charging the full moon with this vibe of, if we can't compromise, we each need to do it in our own way. Or, if we can't work together, it's over. There might even be breakups during this time, or even more people quitting their jobs or getting fired. But I truly believe that's nothing to be afraid of. I also wanted to mention, Black Moon Lilith is within orb of opposition to Mars during this, and squaring Venus too, so that's kind of creating a even more rebellious, truth-seeking aspect to that masculine versus feminine struggle or disagreement or crossroads. This full moon is showing us where stuff is holding us back and not working toward our highest good. It's putting our desire to express ourselves front and center, and it's not going to leave our field of vision until we address what's holding us back. Sometimes that thing is other people's opinions, other people's systems, old ways of doing things that are not helpful anymore. Or even old things like trauma responses or defense mechanisms within yourself that are not serving you anymore. And I know that that's such a typical thing that's said during full moons, like, oh, just let go of whatever is not serving you. But this time it's going to become really apparent, and you're going to recognize, and this has been happening to me, where there's something in your life that is holding you back from doing the things that you want to do or being the person that you want to be. And it's going to be loud, and it's going to be annoying, and it's going to be in your face, and it's going to act like it's the most important thing in the entire world. And you're going to feel like you're dealing with a little baby that's crying. That's a delicate thing to deal with, especially when it's an internal mechanism that's been trying to protect you. So I think that's going to be a really big theme for this full moon as well. Overall, it's time for change that is initiated by a desire for freedom from those things. That's the Aquarius full moon. This is such a powerful time. I encourage you to go outside and connect with the earth right now. It will really turn down the noise with these mercurial energies going on right now and help you make grounded decisions based on what is really best for you. Go stand in the grass, touch a tree, get your hands in the dirt in some way. Feel the sunshine and the wind. These are not just healthy things to do in general, but vital for you to be able to tune into what's happening and what is coming. Nature is infinitely wise. Try talking to a tree. Listen to what it says back to you. It really helps to quiet your thinking mind and relax into knowing that you are where you're meant to be and you're figuring out what you need to do in real time. I think it's also important to mention that you might feel like you're on a time limit right now to do something or figure something out, but it's really important to just trust the timing of what's going on. That message has been coming through very strongly to me recently, that if you feel like you're behind on something, if you feel like you haven't been able to figure something out fast enough, I think you're doing yourself a disservice by making yourself feel bad about that. The real way to deal with that is actually going to be just giving up on the deadline, just giving up on the time that it is going to take and just focusing on consistency instead. And maybe that has something to do with the Mars and Venus square as well. One aspect that I think is important to mention is that we've had this vague Mercury Saturn square going on too. During this full moon, Saturn's retrograde at 14 and Mercury is direct now at 17, and it's going to be moving on. But I think that there's a need, and what did this Mercury retrograde teach us? It's all about caring about stuff, caring about people, caring about ourselves. What is Cancer? Like, Cancer is the deep, nurturing care on its best day. That's what it is. And on its worst day, it's overly emotional, erratic, easily offended. And I think that this Saturn square that's going on here, that's still in effect during this full moon, is reminding us, like, hey, like, because Aries obviously wants to get things done quickly, but there's two big retrograde planets in Aries right now, and that's it. So Aries is being pulled back. Neptune and Saturn are pulling on the reins for Aries. And instead of just doing something the moment that you think of doing it and being like, okay, yeah, this is the thing. Like, we've been getting blocked in doing stuff like that from this Mercury journey that's trying to teach us and has tried to teach us, because right now I believe we're still in Mercury shadow. Mercury has been trying to show us that the little intricacies of our emotional world directly impact this structural output that we're desiring, and that things need to be taken a little bit slower and they need to be done with a little bit more care. So I think that that's part of it too. But overall, I don't think there's anything to be super concerned about right now or worried about right now actively. Like, there's bad stuff going on out in the world, but I encourage everybody to just kind of hone in on their personal life right now and what's going on in their mind day to day, what's going on in their emotional field day to day, what's coming through for you. Just kind of like learn to tune in a little bit deeper, try to get a little more silence in your day if you can. I know, like, every time there's a free moment, we just want to pick up our phones and look at what's going on out there and on the internet, but it's really not worth it. And I think that we need to just slow way down still and listen, because that's where the answers are going to come. Like, if you feel really confused at this moment, this full moon, if you will stop and listen to the message that it is sending you, you're going to get some kind of flash of insight. I'm really predicting that for sure for everybody. Like, there's going to be some realization that's going to come Wednesday, or maybe a little bit after the full moon, maybe Thursday, Friday, into the weekend. You're going to have an idea. You're going to have a thought of, oh, I could just do this. And I think it's going to change everything. As far as like what's going on like the broader scale of things, I really don't think any individual should be caught up in anything like that at this time. I'm not really one for talking about the grander scheme of the world or what's going on per se. One thing I will mention, however, about the grander scheme is that I do think there's going to be way more earthquakes than people expect to see at this moment. I think that there might be a really big earthquake on that day, or maybe the day afterward, like Wednesday, Thursday. That's going to be my big prediction. There it is. So overall, I see this as a huge upgrade for people, and I really wish you guys a fun, informative full moon that is going to guide you back to yourself, is going to guide you along your path in a way that you really need right now. I did want to mention that I'm going to be changing the styles of readings that you can get from me on my website. I'm going to actually switch out the current booking method for more of like a storefront style. So I'm going to be doing audio and written readings only for the time being. So that change will take effect over the next month or so. So if you do want to book a reading with me, you can still use the things that are still there, but I am going to be changing that pretty soon. And I just wanted to make sure that everybody was aware of that. I just think that's going to be a better system for me. Of course, give me a follow on my Instagram. I'm pretty active on there. Try to keep up with that. I am going to be starting my audio-only podcast back up. That's going to come out on Spotify. And I'm going to post a copy here on YouTube as well. All of the links to my website, Instagram, Spotify are in the description box below. And please give the video a like, share it if you think someone else could use this specific message. I know sometimes the things I say are not the same as other astrologers. So my unique perspective may really help somebody out if you listen to this and you thought, oh, there's something in here that someone I know could use. Or this really resonates with an experience that somebody I know is going through right now. Maybe this could help. If you could share that to them, that would be great, just to get the word out about the channel and my whole operation that I've got going on here to help people out and guide them along their path. And I will see you all on the next one.